Hi, welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about jury duty. Yes, when you get that letter in the mail saying that you've been summoned. I got my letter about a month ago, I want to say. I got it and it told me what day I had jury duty and basically saying that I can get paid for just showing up, and then if I get chosen, I get paid every day that I'm there for. It told me what website I need to go to see my instructions, and it was just a lot of information on that card. I mean, hold on, I think I can show y'all the card. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. I don't really know what happened to that card, y'all. I thought I still had it, but you'll know it's jury duty because it's gonna say you've been summoned. It's gonna say jury duty. Mine was a bright yellow. Didn't even come in an envelope. It just came like a postcard, with a bunch of instructions on, what you're supposed to do. So then the day came where it was like, call this number before a certain time, which I did not call that number. But the reason I didn't call is because I got a text that same day, like that morning, that told me that my group was picked and that I need to be there by 8 a.m. the next day. And they told me what floor of the building to go to and everything. So the next morning, I went there. It was a lot of people there, y'all. It was like 150 people. I'm like, dang, this much jury? So I'm like, okay, maybe they won't pick me. Like, that's what I was kind of hoping. They don't pick me because it's nerve-wracking being a jury. Like, I never did it before, but I feel like it'll be nerve-wracking. Plus, they was only paying me, $15 to be there. And then they was like $40 every day you're there. So, yeah. So, anyway, it was 150 of us. They sent us to a room. I wrote some notes on the main points. They sent us to a room and they had us fill out a questionnaire. And the questionnaire, it had questions about like our family, how many people is it, do we have kids, where do you work, what do you do as hobbies, trying to get to know us basically. Because these questionnaires they're about to take to the judges, the judge, and the judge is going to pick if you fit the jury for that case. So they had us watch it. So while we waited, after we filled out the questionnaires, we had to wait. They sent it all to the judge. And then they told us that that day it was 3 different cases. And they were going to need, one case was going to need 12 jury, another case was going to need 12 jury, and then the last case was going to need 7 jury members. So I'm like, okay, that's 31 people and there's 150 of us. I can't get called. So then they have us watch a video on, what it's like to be a jury member and, thanking people for their service. Because in the video, it was around the time we didn't do anything, but they thank you for showing up, for trying to do it. And then let's see what happened. That's when the person finally came out and told us, they're going to pick 40 people. That's what they said. So I'm like, that's way more than they said they needed, but okay. So they called out 40 different names. My name was not called. I got happy. I was like, okay, cool. I get to go home, But then they was like, now I'm going to call out 15 more. I was like, okay, what they calling out more for? I thought that 40 was just one case. Like, that's a lot. So anyway, they called out 15 more, and they called my name. I was like the 6th name call. First of all, on my jury duty postcard, it said I was number 6, jury number 6. And then when they called my name for the duty, they called me as number 6 as well. So then they lined us up according to our number. With that one, it was 15 of us. They lined us up according to our number. And then they took us to the courtroom. In the courtroom, they had the judge, the defendant, the prosecutor, and then some lawyers there. And then they sat us all down and had us raise our right hand and swear we would not lie under oath. So, you gotta do that. And then the lawyers started asking us questions. First they just told us, they didn't really tell us about the case, but they told us, basically who was on trial and kind of some of the charges that person was being charged with. So based off knowing that, they ask you certain questions. Are you able to sit here and be unbiased type questions? So you really gotta, if you got personal feelings towards certain things, you really gotta suck that up and be a good jury. You can't be, against someone because you don't like what that person's job is, or you don't like what skin color that person is, like stuff like that. So they asked us questions like that, and a lot of people, they could not be unbiased based off this case. Like, they were not able to put those personal feelings, thoughts, and everything like that behind and actually get the job done. So a lot of them, they basically said, I cannot do it. And then others were like, they can do it. Me, I didn't have any, personal issues with the defendant at all. Like, I was okay. I felt like I knew. They asked me a bunch of questions, actually. They asked me about 5 different questions where it was like personal. They asked me, based on knowing that, how do I feel and this and that. And I'm going to just let y'all know now. This case, it was about a cop. The cop was a defendant, and he had different charges. And that's all I'm going to say. So, it was a civil crime. And yeah, so they asked us about all of that. Then they sat us down. Well, we was already sitting, but after they asked us that, they picked 7 of us. They picked 7 people. And guess who was number 2? Me. I was number 2. They picked me again. So this is now the 3rd time I was picked that day. So, they was like, oh, congratulations, you guys are our new jury members. And then they had like kind of told us basically some things that we was gonna be doing. They sent us on a little lunch break. But when I say they told us some things we was gonna be doing, they told us basically how long the case was gonna be, which this case was a 2-day case, which I was happy because I was like, please don't let me be here for like 3 weeks. So this was a 2-day case. Then they told us how the day was gonna go. They told us about the breaks we was gonna have. They told us about how we can't talk about the case until it's over. They told us we can't look up the case until it's over. They told us how they sent us on a lunch break and stuff like that. So they sent us on a lunch. We kind of sat down. It was like a 7, was like, oh my gosh. And then we came back and we started seeing these witnesses. They gave us a little notepad where we was able to take notes on certain evidence and things that the witness would say. And they told us, they gave us like some of the slips of actually the case, like it'll written out about the charges and what those charges mean and definitions of certain words and like, stuff like that. That's what was in that binder as well. So yeah, we started seeing witnesses. We started writing down stuff. And let me see where I'm at on here. Yeah, day 2 came because the rest of that day, we kind of left at like 6. So I was there from 8 to like 6:20 because those lawyers, like when they're interrogating and asking questions to the witness and everything like that, you really hear that, oh, I object, and oh, Your Honor, this, and like it gets really crazy in there. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this is like TV, but like in person. So anyway, before we leave for like a recess, a lunch, or a break, and when I say recess, I mean they give you about a bunch of recesses. Like if the lawyers need to have a break and they need to discuss something with the judge, or if they need anything, we one time took a recess, and it was about a 10-minute recess. We came back, and then they sent us right back before we even actually sat in our seats. Like, as soon as they said, you may be seated, and we sat, and then it was like, we're going to take another recess. So we had to all rise, and we all stepped up again and left out the room. And then we was going for like 40 minutes at a time. Like, you don't know how long these recesses will last, and you don't know when they're coming. They're there. We all had to be there by 9 on day 2. And let's see what happened after that. It was more witnesses. On day 1, we actually got to meet the prosecutor, the one that was making the charges. We got to meet that person as a witness. Day 2, we saw a bunch of witnesses and took a bunch of notes. And then also the defendant, the one being charged, got there on the stand as well. And yeah, it was really tough being a jury, because after that, us jurors had to go in there, during recess, we would talk about this case. We would talk about what our thoughts is on this case. And sometimes we would disagree. We would argue. And it's like, I feel some people had biased opinions. Like, they're not listening to evidence, facts, and like trying to hear anything, because in their head, they felt that this person is this way automatically. So that means they should be guilty for certain things automatically. And I mean, they ask you to put all that aside when you're dealing with this, because you're dealing with somebody's life. And by 7 p.m., because like I said, this was a 2-day trial and we're on day 2. So that means this day we would have to make a decision on if this person was guilty or not. They were done finally. They had us take a break. They said it would be a short break, but it turned out to be like an hour-long break. Then they brought us back and told us that they were done with the arguments and the, back and forth, and that now they would do their closing statements. So they started doing their closing statements, and like the prosecutors would say, find this man guilty because he's definitely guilty. And then they would come to us, give us all this evidence of him being guilty and say, make sure you guys say he's guilty, stuff like that. And then the defendants would come after that and be like, make sure you guys, they would show us all the evidence, make sure you guys say he's not guilty. This is an innocent man. And then after that, because in this case, the prosecutor was the state that I'm in. So it was state versus defendant. In this case, the prosecutor was the state. They came again and guilty, ladies and gentlemen, guilty. So you gotta, go back into the jury room and have your discussions and talk about all this with that on your mind, with these people telling you he's guilty or he's not guilty. It's your choice, ladies and gentlemen. You have to pick. That's a lot of pressure. I'm telling y'all. Like, if you get jury duty and you get picked, it's a lot of pressure. Because as soon as we went back there, we was there so late that they bought us dinner. They brought us a bunch of pizzas. It was like 4 pizzas, and it was 7 of us. But they told us that the 7th person was like a backup, so it was really only 6 of us, because that backup could not put any input on whether this person was guilty or not. That backup was only there for, I don't know what, because one person felt like they couldn't be under the pressure of this case. And when we went on a recess and we was kind of arguing a little bit, and this person didn't get their way, they wanted to actually leave jury, like be relieved of their jury duty, but they were denied that leave. So that backup wasn't able to do their job and like say, I'll step in. So I don't really know what the backup was for, but she wasn't able to talk during our deliberation. So like I said, during deliberation, they give us pizza. We already had like drinks and snacks. They've been giving us drinks and snacks since the beginning. So give us pizza, drinks, snacks, coffee, water, whatever we needed. And then they gave us they showed us all the evidence already, but then they also gave us more like proof in our face so we can talk about it. So they had gave us, the forms of how we were supposed to do everything, how we supposed to deliberate, how we supposed to come up with our conclusions. We had to pick a foreman, so we had to pick one person out of the 6 to be the one to write down what we all decided and why we all decided. Like, it'll have bullet points of different counts under that one felon, under that one count or whatever. Like, if it was for battery, it'll be battery because this and this, because of this and this, because of this and this type. So this is now 9 o'clock when we started deliberating, and our deliberations lasted about 2 hours. We were literally in there arguing most of the time. We were disagreeing most of the time. We were not coming up with conclusions most of the time. But ultimately, we ended up agreeing on 3 of the 5 charges, and the 4th one kind of was like a default. So if we chose any of them, that one automatically applied. So we agreed on basically 4 charges. That last one, which was the first charge, we just could not agree on. There was so much arguing going on because of that, because of bias people and people like putting their personal experiences on it, where it just could not be agreed upon. So, finally we gave up the conclusion, and no one actually agreed on one of the charges, which the judge said that was a normal thing. That this was afterwards, because after we did say we couldn't agree, we did go into, hold on, yeah, I'm getting a call, I don't know what. Okay, so after we did not agree, we did call the bailiff and tell them, like, we cannot agree on a certain thing, and then the judge told us to just write down what we did not agree on, what we did agree on, what we think he's guilty for, what we think he's not guilty for. Just put it down there on that paper. So then we went back in there after it took, about 20 minutes for the attorneys and everything to come back, because we went back in there. We gave the bailiff the paper, and the bailiff gave the judge the paper. And then she asked our foreman, like, we see that you guys cannot agree on certain things. Is that true? Da, 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 da. And then that's when she asked us one by one if we agree with the foreman that we couldn't agree on this. And we all said yes. We all said no, we can't agree on this. This is something that, like, is just hard. Like, we just said yes. We didn't say all the extra stuff because she only asked us a yes or no question. So we all said yes. And then that was it. She started saying out loud what he was guilty for and what he was not guilty for. And that was it. They dismissed us. And the judge personally came into the room after she sent us away and kind of, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I had got a call. But after they sent us away, the judge personally walked into the room where we were all at. We all kind of felt bad. Like, I felt bad in the beginning, to be honest. But the person that was being the most biased felt bad too. And I said we all agreed on 3, but there was 4 that were given. The 5th one we could not agree on, so they didn't even discuss that one. So 3 of them he were guilty for, and 1 of them he was not. So yeah, that was kind of hard to do, seeing them, and then you see him and you can see his face and his reactions towards everything, and it's just really hard. Like, the evidence, you don't know for sure, because all the evidence that was given was very unclear. It was very like, we have to be able to see something, and that's why on most of those charges, the counts that were added, we felt he wasn't guilty for, because the evidence is so unclear that we wouldn't know that. But the main thing we did say he was guilty of is something that was actually, it had the only evidence. No, evidence proved that that's what he is guilty of. That's why we decided that's what it would be. But yeah, so the judge came in personally. She thanked us again. Then she gave us all certificates with our name on it and everything. I probably could show you guys that. Hold on. All right, so she gave us certificates with our name on it and everything like that. and that was sweet. Then the bailiff gave us all work excuses, you know, for people that work. And then after that, they gave us our cell phones back, because I didn't tell y'all, but they did take our cell phones from us around 9-ish. Right before they gave us the forms for deliberation, they told us that we can't have our phones. They put it in the basket, took it away, brung us food, had us deliberating, and we didn't have our phones since. And like I said, it took us about 2 hours to do all that. So yeah, it was, at this point, it was midnight. We were in that jury room, we got our phone back and everything like that. It was already midnight. And yeah, the judge also told us before we left that some of the lawyers might want to stop and talk to us and question us, but we don't have to answer. I mean, because the case was now over. But yeah, that did not happen with me. I'm not sure if it happened with anybody else, but with me, it did not happen. Yeah. So she also said that the attorneys might do a retrial, not a retrial, but like another trial for that one that we all could not agree on, just because he did not become guilty or not guilty for that charge. So they might do another trial for that one charge, but I'm not sure. I just know that that's jury duty. I'm done with it. And yeah, guys, it's stressful. I had headaches both days. It was hard trying to decide what you think someone is guilty of, what you think someone is not guilty of, trying to give justice for, you know, the defendant and for the prosecutor, because you wasn't there. You don't really know what happened. You're getting this evidence, but then they're like giving you their own versions of it. The defendant is giving you the version where it looks like he's innocent, and then the prosecutor is giving you the version where it looks like he's not innocent. And it's literally the same evidence, but they show you different versions to where it can make you think, did he or did he not? And that's the hard part. But yeah, so I'm gonna go now because this video is getting super long. So guys, if you have jury duty, good luck. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.